the Gentle Magic Podcast with your host, Bing Swang. I have witnessed how adding a tiny dose of gentleness adds magic to my everyday life, and I would love for you to experience the same magic too. Come join me by adding your sacred presence through listening to this podcast and taking some inspired action from these stories, poetry, and interviews of practicing gentleness. Thank you for being here. I'm so delighted to share with you a short snippet from my interview with Gregory Vahanian, who is a transformational life coach based in Los Angeles. If you see yourself as highly sensitive and need a loving reminder to help you honor your sensitivity as a gift, I hope you'll listen to this potent and uplifting 7-minute snippet from him. To me, it's a beautiful healing transmission that empowers me to keep honoring my sensitivity. And I just love listening to it over and over again. Thank you. Thank you, Gregory, for your gift. And here is.
I used to think sometimes that my sensitivity felt like a curse. Why am I so sensitive? Why do I have to be so sensitive? Why do I have to be so? It would just be easier to feel like it's water off a duck's back, to not be impacted by something someone says or how I'm received. Gosh, it can feel burdensome. Used to be. But increasingly, I've recognized in myself, and I recognize it in you from my perception, that the sensitivity is a great gift. Simultaneously, it's like a bull, like that expression, a bull in a china shop. A bull is oblivious, so just goes in knocking things over and doesn't think about it. With somebody who's highly sensitive, the higher the degree of sensitivity, the higher degree of the empathic quotient, like EQ, emotional quotient, or EQ, empathic quotient. I just made that up. The more of an empathic quotient, wow, it seems to me requires such a spiritual fortitude, such a strength of heart. So much courage. Because someone like you is not a bull in a china shop. Someone like you is going to go into the world and feel and be impacted. So, in spite of what someone else might interpret as weakness, or sometimes people thought of my sensitivity as childishness or immaturity, I disagree. I think it's one of your, and I'll own it as one of my deep spiritual gifts, that it is a great strength, that is, in the same way that negative emotions can show up like, calling for attention, or in the dashboard of the car. When we are highly sensitive, as I experience you to be, it's like that light is going to come on frequently, and it's going to call for attention. So in a way, I'm told, I'm not an expert on cars, but I'm told that the more expensive, higher developed cars like a Ferrari or a Maserati, they actually require significantly more care than a $500,000 car requires significantly more care than a $20,000 car, because it's so sensitive to the particular oil that's used, the particular gas or petrol that's used. And if one thing is off, it can change how it functions. So to me, your beautifully high level of sensitivity, in a way, you could consider that God, do you relate to God, to the idea of God? Yes. So, I just want to use language that, resonates. So that God so trusted you, that God has so much faith in you, that God would say, I'm going to gift this soul. I'm going to entrust this soul with such a high level of sensitivity, perhaps because I trust she will have, or she will develop as part of her spiritual curriculum as a human, the strength of heart to be a responsible steward of this gift, so that she can be a vehicle and channel and like a lighthouse, as you are already, as a gentleness ambassador, and in the different ways you show up, to model and be a reference point for the lives that are touched by her life, on how one can honor one's sensitivity, one's empathy, one's tenderness, while still navigating and participating in Earth School effectively, successfully, without hiding, without shutting down, without going into a cave, but by participating. And I see you doing that in a lot of different levels, by, extending opportunities for connection. Each time you do that, to me, like, you're demonstrating strength of heart and being a spiritual warrior.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gentle Magic with Pink Swarm. I hope that you felt the healing magic of gentleness, and I'm honored to have your sacred presence. Enjoy your beautiful day or peaceful evening, and do stay tuned for the next episode of Gentle Magic. Bye-bye.